Good morning, dear students. Today we'll be discussing job analysis and strategic trends in talent management. So, when we talk about talent management, job analysis is an integral part of talent management. So, basically, what job analysis is? So, job analysis may be defined as the collection of data on job oriented behavior such as job tasks and work procedures. Basically, what job task and work procedures are and job oriented behavior is wherein you have certain tasks and work procedures which require a certain type of behavior which is to fulfill that particular task and job. It also requires collection of data on more abstract work oriented behaviors such as decision making, supervision, and information processing. Every task is having certain type of requirement in terms of behavior. It could be decision making, it could be supervision, and it could be information processing. It also involves behaviors involved interactions with machines, material, and tools, methods of evaluating performance such as productivity and error rates, job context such as working conditions and type of compensation systems, personal requirements such as skills, physical ability, and personal traits. So, when we talk about that job analysis, so any job analysis should focus on work behaviors and tasks associated with them. If work behaviors are not observable, the job analysis should identify and analyze those aspects of the behaviors that can be observed and the work products. Now, when we talk about job analysis, there are certain elements of job analysis. A traditional job analysis has four typical components, and these components are a description of work activity or tasks involved in doing a job. When we talk about that, what actually job is? So, job is collection of various tasks. We can say, if put it in a mathematical form, that task plus task is equal to work, and work plus work is equal to job. So, task is the basic unit of the job. So the description of every task or which involves work activity, it has to be the component of the job analysis. Then the knowledge, skills, and abilities or competencies necessary to perform the job. So every task which is the unit of a job, it has got the requirements of its certain knowledge, skills, and abilities which are required to be possessed by the employee for performing that particular task. So, data on the range of performance and the characteristics of the workplace. So, data on the range of job performance, what exactly is expected out of that task in terms of output from the employee. So, that has to be taken care of, and the characteristics of the workplace, because ultimately, employee is performing with the help of the resources that are being made available in the workplace. And the workplace, what are the characteristics of the workplace, what are the physical settings of the workplace, where he is able to perform his job, it comprises an important element of the job analysis. Now, there are certain methods for collecting data. The information which is required for job analysis, it involves collection of data through various methods. Now, there are various methods for collecting, say, job. This job in analysis. So, first is self-report. So, what self-report is? Uh, So, what self report is? Self report is the most obvious and readily available source of information about a job where the employees are currently holding the job. All too often, however, employee reports are the only source used to analyze a job because this approach is subjected to attempts to inflate the importance of one jobs and variety of other contaminating influences. So this is one of the disadvantage of the reports, where an employee might try to inflate or to show the relevance of the job in such a manner so that it makes that job appear to be very important. So it might be influenced by the contamination of the employee's perception. which he is trying to make towards his task or towards his job. So this is especially the case when employees are asked to prepare in writing their own job description with few guidelines and little supervision. So one variation on the self-report approach is to have the job analyst. Typically, an HR specialist attempts to fill the job or for a brief period and report on his or her expectations in filling the job. And obviously, this approach is only appropriate for rather simple jobs that do not require a specific set of skills or much training. And there is always question of how useful these self-reports are in understanding the job. So these self-reports may be important, or they may be working in the type of jobs where it is not involving very complicated, say, tasks. Then the second important thing is direct observation. So direct observation is another method to collect the data about the job analysis. So many jobs can be studied by observing an employee actually performing the job. And sometimes in order to reduce the audience effect, or a video camera can be used to record an employee is doing about the job. And using a camera, especially these days, wherein we have IT as a boon for us. Using a camera over a period of time, it both eliminates the observer effect and provides an opportunity to observe the job over a longer period of time and to take samples of job behavior from the recording as a database. But direct observation, however, is most useful with jobs that involve obvious physical activity, because you are observing employee directly what he is doing. So it is more appropriate to have direct observation wherein the physical activity in a job is involved. And for jobs that are primarily cognitive in nature, direct observation provides little useful data, because certain type of jobs wherein physical activity is not involved, wherein an analytical activity and which is knowledge based job, there you cannot have a direct observation. So, observing a market analyst or a theoretical physicist at a work would provide us with little information about the nature of their work. So, further, there neither self reports nor direct observations would provide much information about the requirements necessary to perform these jobs, nor about the level of job performance. Then we have interviews. So, interview is a source of information gathering through interaction with the employees, generally personally. So, interviews must be conducted by a skilled, trained interviewer who has both some understanding of the job being analyzed and the nature of work in general, as these provide the necessary background for asking questions and probing answers for more detailed and complete answers from those being interviewed. And when we talk about interviews, we have two types of interview. One is individual interview, and second is group interview. Individual interviews, there are several sources of information about the job, all of whom can be interviewed either singly or in small groups. And these include current employees of the job. That means you can interview a person who is actually performing that job, on who is currently on that job, and others who are often referred to as subject matter experts. So, subject matter experts or SMEs are those individuals other than employees who have knowledge about the job being analyzed, such as former employees, managers with the oversight of the job, academic specialists, and anyone in the organization who has that specialized knowledge of the job in question. That means you can have this individual interview either from a person who is actually performing that job, or from the SMEs who is a subject matter expert in that particular job. Then we can have another type of interview, which is group interview. These follow up interviews, usually using the focus group method, are the best conducted in the group setting with a mixed group of 5 or 6 individual employees, which may be supervisors and SMEs. So it is imperative that at least two of the group B employees may be individuals who know the job best, and more than one to ensure surfacing different points of view. And in conducting group interviews, the facilitator should not attempt to push or unanimity of viewpoints, but rather should understand that jobs, even what appear to be simple jobs, are seen and performed differently, and these differences need to be woven into a final job description. So, the ways these group interviews are introduced to the organization, the manner in which individuals are invited to participate, and the way in which the interviews are initiated and conducted are critical to the quality of the information collected. Because if you are not giving a comfortable environment to the interviews, so they might not giving you the type of information which is required by the interviewer. So it must be made clear that the purpose of these group interviews is to gain better understanding of a particular job or a class of jobs, that no one will lose his or her job as a result of this process. So then we have document reviews. Document reviews, it again makes a source of data for the job analysis, because the archives of most organization contains a variety of documents that are full of that are full of useful information which help in conducting job analysis. These might include analysis of output, performance appraisal, reports by both internal auditors and external consultants, prior job descriptions, maybe customer complaint records, which are very useful source about employee job behaviors that are of particular importance to customers. It could be internal memoranda about unusual events, difficulties encountered by the workers on a job, problems in recruiting applicants, and can provide worthwhile. These all information or reviews of these particular documents can provide worthwhile insights into a job. And sometimes it could be reports of accidents and medical reports, which are useful in identifying health and safety issues in the job. And all these again will help analysts to get the information or formulate information on the basis of the data which is being collected through document reviews. And then most applied and most popular sources, questionnaires and surveys. Using a job analysis questionnaire can substantially be good source of information about a job. The job analyst typically asks the respondents individually to rate the importance of variety of tasks in the job under scrutiny. And what the next step might he follow is that to pick up from the list the requirements necessary to perform, and finally to identify the range of job performances using a rating scale. So there could be two type of questionnaires which might be used by the say analyst. One is a custom designed questionnaire, and second is commercially available questionnaire. In producing a custom design questionnaire, the HR professional who is responsible for the job analysis, he must develop the questionnaire using information typically obtained individually from the job incumbent, his or her supervisor, or SMEs. So, while using such a custom design questionnaire, it should clearly target the job under investigation, so that it can save time and effort of using a questionnaire rather than conducting individual interviews, which are very modest, and a good deal for of skill and understanding are required to produce a high quality custom designed job analyst questionnaire. Then second which is available is commercially available questionnaire. Now these are the alternative to custom design job analysis questionnaire, which is used that has been developed by job analysis expert and is commercially available. So these are already available in the market. So what job analyst can do, he can organization can purchase or get access to these commercially available questionnaires, and sometimes they might get a customized commercially available questionnaire. So these instruments, they tend to be well designed, fairly reliable, and eliminate the need of an HR professional to develop his or her own instrument. So these commercially developed instruments can simply be presented to a group of incumbents or SMEs to complete after providing the group with a relatively straightforward set of instructions about how to proceed. So these were certain methods for collecting data. When we talk about job analysis, we have two statements. One is job description and second job specification. Herein we are going to discuss now job description. So, what a job description is a useful, plain language tool that describes the tasks, duties, functions, and responsibilities of a position. It outlines the details of who performs the specific type of work, how that work is to be completed, and the frequency and the purpose of work as it relates to the company's mission and goals. So, job description basically they are used for a variety of reasons, such as tool for recruiting, determining compensation levels, conducting performance reviews, clarifying missions, establishing discretion and independent judgment. A good job description gives an employee a very clear and concise resource to be used as a guide for job performance. So while writing a job description, one must keep in mind certain things in mind to write down the job description. So what are there are basically four principles for writing job descriptions. So first is that it has to be complete. When we talk about that, it has to be complete and concise, so that accurate job descriptions it will help classify each position and will serve as the basis for recruiting, training, and evaluating employees, and as a guide for developing performance standards. Then second is well written. When we talk about that, it has to be well written. What does it mean? That it should be easily understood by anyone who reads it, and not only by those who are familiar with the position. That means while writing job descriptions, you should keep in mind the language which is being used, and jargons should be avoided. Only those jargons which are very specific, very common, you can use those jargons, but otherwise it should be very simple, and language has to be very plain, so that it is, because the objective of writing job description is that it should be understood by the employees. Then sometimes it might happen that for writing technical job descriptions, so one can use technical abbreviations, such as language or documentation unique, which is unique to that particular job. So but on the same time it should be very understandable when used within the unit. And but again, if you are using these technical abbreviations, so then it requires further explanation or for classifications, right? One can use technical abbreviation. Then a result oriented description. While writing job description, um, it should explain why functions are performed and allows one to be more effectively manage the objectives of the position. That means when job JD is being written, employees should be able to understand the objectives which are related to the positions and what is being expected out of his performance. So it also helps the compensation consultant evaluate the position more quickly and effectively when it is written, keeping in mind the objectivity of the job. So it helps compensation consultant to correlate the output with the compensation, or what how it should be compensated accordingly. Now, question arises that who should prepare the job description? Generally, the immediate supervisor or employee can complete the job description, depending on which the person is more familiar with the position. If the incumbent is new to the organization or job, the manager may wish to complete the job description. But if the employee completes it, the manager should validate it, that whatever is being written down, whether it is valid and relevant. So managers have authority to determine the actual duties and responsibilities of the position. So these are some of the principles which one should keep in mind while writing job descriptions. Now there are certain elements of job description. Um, when we write down job description, so because hiring strategy, it is built upon effective job descriptions that incorporate elements, certain elements. So These elements are job title and summary, competencies, work environment activities, performance expectations, compensation, and benefits. So, when we said that we have to keep in mind the principles for writing job description, but one simultaneously one should be aware that what all JD includes. So, there are certain elements of JD. So, first is job title and summary. A relative title helps define the general nature of job effectively. So, a good job title must be categorically and provide a sense of identity for the employee. Summary must convey the position's responsibilities, duties, nature of work, and purpose. But then it should be a very short and in a very crisp manner. An effective summary helps reader quickly grasp whether the job fits him or not. So, job title and summary should be written in such a manner so that it it tends to attract the potential candidate. Moreover, it helps the job seeker gain a general understanding of a position at first sight without being overwhelmed by the job requirements. Then we have competencies. Well, competencies are very important for job description, because ultimately it is on the basis of competencies that which will help organization in attracting and retaining talent. So the section on competencies, it describes the knowledge, skills, and capabilities required to be successful in a job. So this description must be detailed enough for prospective candidate to assess if they have the experience and the required competencies, maybe the type of education to qualify for the position. And for the hiring manager, competencies help benchmark a candidate in relation to others. Then we have work environment and activities. By providing a description of the work activities and the environment, you provide a prospective candidate a very important contextual reference to make a decision. So, which may include immediate working environment, equipment, and software and hardware tools, extent of interaction with colleagues and management, maybe the work schedule and the level of responsibility. So, a very important disclosure is work culture of the company. An effective job description must also organize the daily task into meaningful categories so that employee again gets a insight about the environment and the activities he is supposed to perform in the organization. Then performance expectations, which form a very very important part of your JD. So it has to be very effective and detailed expectation of performance, which is benchmarked to the departmental and organizational standards of excellence. It should organize performance expectations according to the type of work activities or according to the level of importance. So when it is being clearly communicated to the employee about the performance expectations, so while employee is performing that particular job, the objective is to minimize the gap between what actually he is doing and what is expected out of him. Then compensation and benefits. One must realize one must realize expectations of the compensation as well as any potential variable compensation components. For many candidates, compensation is an important factor in making a decision, and it is also something over which organizations are sometimes sued. So it is a critical that the job description defines the components that are evaluated when assessing salary grades, and if the hiring is based on experience. So the job description must state if the individual is eligible for the benefits, because ultimately when we talk about the retention and motivation of the employee, we keep on repeatedly saying that money is not the sole motivator, but it is a very important motivator for the employee. So the more it is being communicated clearly, transparently to the employee, so more is the grounded expectation of the employee. uh, Talking about also job specification, as we said that job analysis is equal to job description plus job specification. That means both job description and job specification combinedly make your job analysis. So Job analysis should contain position title, location, hours, reporting, purpose, duties, evaluation, and experience. Basically, what job specification is purely related to the job. That means what job is having. And JD is what is expected, what a person or incumbent should have to perform that particular job. So, job specification, for example, position and title, both internal position, if it is internal, the position as it would be viewed externally. Then location. Location means which particular office, town, or how much travel will be involved, that has to be written down. Then remuneration, which includes all the benefits, maybe monetary and non-monetary benefits which are attached to that particular position. Then hours, how many hours a week, and a comment about flexibility if this is offered, to the employee. So how many hours he is supposed to work. Reporting, again, who will be the position holder, who will be the position holder and to whom he will be reporting to, forms a very very important part of your job specification. Because in addition, lay out any man management responsibilities uh, will be important part of the job specification. Then purpose, this is the most important part of the specification, which will give an idea about that what the person should accomplish or be aiming to achieve. Because purpose of the job, that what how this job is relevant to the overall organization's performance. That means how that job is contributing to the achievement of overall organization goal and objective. That should be very very clearly defined. Duties, a general overview of what the main duties of the post holder will be. That means the tasks which are involved in that particular job, that means the job which is comprising of different tasks, they have to be very, very clearly specified. So avoid being too prescriptive or narrow, so as not to limit what you can expect in the future, and it allows for people to become entrepreneur in their role. Then evaluation, how you will measure whether the purpose is achieved or not. Then experience, any skills, qualifications, or personal qualities are required. You can separate these between essential and experience and desired experience. So this was all about job analysis, job description, and job specification. Thank you very much.